Hi, I'm Brianna, a homeschool mom to two, but mom of three. My wee one is still just a little baby, so obviously not schooling him yet. I'm a little bit of a sweaty mess here, so don't mind me. It's hot here right now, middle of summer, July. But this is my video of the curriculum that we quit for first grade. So heads up, kind of a lot of math books just because I am an accountant, and so math is kind of my jam. And all the videos I've watched, there's been a lot of different math programs I've really wanted to try, and a lot of them didn't stick super well. The one we landed on was Singapore Math. We love that. So my first one that we're getting to is Math with Confidence by Kate Snow. And we do actually do her addition facts that stick, subtraction facts that stick, and we love that. That's been super helpful for us. But we didn't love Math with Confidence. And heads up, I'm only a year into homeschooling, and my kids are really young, first grade and kindergarten, so take this all with a grain of salt, obviously. But we didn't love this one. It wasn't open and go enough for us, I think. I think maybe someday I'll give it another chance, just after learning a little bit more and being a little bit more comfortable teaching things that aren't open and go. But when we tried this, we just didn't super love it. I think I read a lot of things that said the workbooks are super, super easy. The real learning is in the instructor's guide. And so you can kind of see here, like, we're circling the greater number, circling the shapes that's different. And I think that my first grader already has a really strong grasp on all this stuff. We made it to, let's see here, page 50. So, I mean, we tried it, and I think it was just hard for me to get all the materials and read the lessons every day beforehand. And Singapore Math isn't super open and go either, but I think it's more open and go than this, if that makes sense. But the real learning happens in the instructor guide. And so just a random page, I'll open up to Math Picture Book, Domino Edition, warming up, doing a bunch of counting on their own, enrichment activity, play a classic game of dominoes or go fish. I guess that wasn't a good one because it was the very end of a chapter. But yeah, there's a lot of work that you're doing outside of the actual workbook. So you're doing a lot of games and warming up and activities like on the floor with shapes and different cards and numbers and counters, and you just kind of need a lot of supplies too, which I don't really love. Gathering a bunch of supplies and trying to keep them all together in like a bag next to the stuff. I don't know. I'm just a little bit more open and go than that. So we didn't really love Math with Confidence. Maybe someday. My next one I have is an Evan Moore book, and it is Daily 6th Trait Writing for first grade. And I looked it up and I was like, great, yeah, let's do that. Let's do our writing and our spelling, and we're learning how to read. But it felt like, I'm trying to find a good example here. It felt like it was a lot of writing here that we didn't really know how to do. So, for example, like this page here, we're making up a story and we're writing the beginning, middle, and end. And I think that's a great thing to know, but we're just not quite there yet. We're only still in first grade, and we're learning how to read and write and spell, and we do our books to do that, and we are reading very well, I think, but we're just not quite like, making a story and then writing a whole beginning, middle, end. It just felt like this book is a lot more advanced for where we're at. So first grade, I don't think so. Maybe for some kids, but this feels a little bit more advanced. Like we're definitely not there yet. My next one is, I wanted to love this one so much. My first logic workbook for gritty kids. I wanted to love it. And it says it's for ages 4 to 6. And I don't agree with that. I think this is more, guesstimate 7 to 8. Some of it is easy. Like we're matching shadows and we're matching heads to bodies. Great, easy enough. And then I don't know if I can like quickly find an example. This one looks hard. I'm an adult and this one looks hard for me to do, like to trace line A all the way around. Like it just feels really jumbled. This one looks really hard for me. Like which shadow is correct? They're all so similar. And I don't know, I really wanted to love it. And I think that this would be a really fun book and a really good book for us, but just not quite yet. It feels like this is definitely a little bit more advanced for us. We did make it to, I don't know, page 10 or so before it just started to feel like a little bit too much. I don't know, like, okay, so the eagle means you go up, the snake means you go to the side, like, so it just, I don't know, I feel like this would be good, but just not for first grade. I don't think that would be, I think it'd be too frustrating and too hard. My next one is another math one, and it is Matthew. And I've heard such great things about this, and I really wanted to love it, and I don't hate it. I do actually like it. I just don't think it is great for us. Let me see here. So the lessons are kind of long, but I guess that's what you make it, because so like this is to A, to B, to C, to D, to L, like it goes all the way to G. And so they're kind of long, but it's like not a lot on each page. And I think it starts out really easy, right? So like, how many are here? 6. How many are here? 3. Perfectly fine, easy enough. And then we're filling in, okay, how many are here? 6, 5, like coloring those. But I think it just got like hard really quickly. Hard to say. I mean, because all of a sudden we're kind of like, all right, we're in hundreds, like color 820. And so, I mean, I guess it's not hard, but it just felt like it did a big jump between easy to a lot more difficult. I don't know, like you're making your own math problems here. I don't know, sometimes we still do this as kind of a supplementary thing, but it is not our main program. And for the most part, we just quit it because there was a lot of manipulatives and it was quite expensive. So I don't know, I just think that there are, I don't know, for us, better things out there. And here's one, 20 and 20, 30 and 30, 20, 20, like, I don't know. Yeah, but so that's that. The next one that we quit for first grade, another one I really wanted to love, and it was quite expensive, and I don't think it should have been. I bought it secondhand, and even secondhand, it was still like $80, $70, something like that. And it is Wordly Wise 3000. And I don't know if this is a lesser known thing. I haven't heard of it a lot, but when I saw something on it and I was thinking, okay, great. Yeah, let's get our vocabulary more enriched and let's learn more words. And I love that. I didn't love this though. So I'll just show you. It comes with the teacher manual, the student book, and then these ginormous flashcards that are a little bit comical. So you're going to read a story and then they're going to look at this and kind of draw along with it. But there's not really a lot to, my kids kind of scribbled in here because we're just kind of looking at it. There wasn't a lot to do with it. But I didn't love the words just because they felt kind of random, and some of them felt really easy, and then some of them felt, I don't know. Okay, for example, so lesson 1 was leap, swamp, trunk, capital, monument, steep, load, globe, coast, and nation. And I knew half of those words, like leap, trunk, swamp, like, yeah, we know those. And then capital and monument, I think those are good words to know, but as like vocabulary words, I'm not so sure. And then I'll just flip to a random page, I guess, and read the next vocab words. So Unit 2, Lesson 5 is sway, property, arrange, rusty, attach, design, stormy, batteries, section, and raise. So I think these are words that are good to know, but as far as like studying them as vocabulary words, I just didn't love the words, and I especially didn't love how it was laid out. And I think that I could get past the words, I think, but how it was laid out and taught, I just really didn't like. So, for example, week 1, day 1, you are introducing the words, and then you're reading this like 3-page long story that feels like it's just trying to fit all those words in, and it doesn't feel like a great story. It feels like it's just really like, okay, let's load the trunk so we can go visit the Capitol, and oh my gosh, here's a globe, and oh well, let's jump over the swamp before we get in the car. It just felt like they were trying to really cram in all the words. And then I believe you do like 3 or 4 days, and day 2 you do the story again, and my kids just really were like, oh, we don't like this story at all. And then day 3, it's kind of a random poem. So like that lesson with like monument and swamp and leap, it's Wheels on the Bus. I just not so sure how that fits in, but wanted to love this, spent the money on it, didn't love it. So lesson learned. My next one is a hot take. Oh, a little sweaty here. Beast Academy. And my kids like to play with this book as like a fun book, like looking at it comic book style. It is a fun book. It's really colorful. It's really pretty. And my son is really good at math. My first grader is really good at math. And he was pretty good at it when I taught it differently, which I feel like kind of, then what's the point of the book? And why I don't like Beast Academy, they also have an online component. We tried that and we liked that, but we just didn't stick with it. Why I didn't like it though, like this is super fun. My kids love this page and all the characters, but they teach it in comic book style. And so it's kind of hard to follow. And I think for older kids, maybe it'd be a little bit better because they could read it themselves and kind of grasp the concepts. But I think me reading the comic book stuff to my son, it just felt like kind of lost. Like the learning felt kind of lost, I guess. So, like for example, here we're like kind of counting, and we're like, how many O's are on the spoon? How many stickers are on each book? And I think that's nice, but it's like really tiny, and the O's on the spoon are really tiny. And so it's kind of hard to see too. I think that we will love this when he's a little bit older and can kind of look at it himself. But as far as me reading it to him and teaching him, I just don't think it translated very well. So this is one that we quit for now, might revisit later. My next one, I have 3 left. 3 left. My next one is The Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading. And I've kind of gone over this in another video, but So we've touched on reading, and we did our other language arts books and reading books, and we landed on Logic of English, which we love. I think that has been a godsend for us, but this is one that I had tried and we did not love it. We didn't love it. So this is the student book, and like, for example, lesson 1 just had 3-letter A's, and it goes on like that for all the alphabet, V, W, X, Y, Z, and then all of a sudden, after all the 26 letters, we're like right here, and we're reading pat the fat cat, Dan can pat the fat cat. Like, it jumps really hard, and we kind of did it, and we made it past that, but it was a struggle, and it felt like it was just a really big jump. And what I didn't love is that there was a lot of prep involved and a lot of flashcards to print out, and they wanted you to memorize a lot of songs, which I didn't really love. It's really scripted. It says the instructor say this, together say this, and we didn't always follow that. Like, when I said my instructor blurb, my son didn't always answer how they expect the student to, so then I kind of had to improvise a little bit, which is fine, but I didn't really know how to teach reading, and so it's like, okay, it was a little hard to improvise sometimes. But yeah, I wanted you to memorize a lot of songs, and I didn't love that. But we didn't make it really far in the book, so maybe it works super, super great for some people, but for us, it did not. My next one, I don't know. I guess I don't even know if I should really include this because it's kind of a random book, but I got it on Amazon, 200 Essential Sight Words, and I was like, that sounds great. We can do that. But right away on page 2, we're writing, I am 5 years old. This is an elephant. And I was like, yeah, that is too far advanced for us. We are not there. Look at the dragon. Could that be a Superboy? We don't know the word could. I don't know. Just felt like one of those ones where I was like, okay, we're just not even really going to go there. We love Logic of English because it teaches us the phonics of every letter. And so right now we are reading more phonetically, and we just started the Foundations B, so the second book, and we are reading more like CH, SH, like more, I guess, not phonetic sounds. So we've made it past that, and we are working our way to where we maybe could do this, but I think by the time we get there, we just won't really need this. So that is another thing. And then the last thing that we quit was the IXL first grade math workbook. And this was one where it just felt like it was not deep enough for a math program. It felt like it was extra learning or extra help with stuff, like, you do your math and then we do some extra worksheets with this sometimes. But I did try it as our math program, and it just felt like it doesn't really do any teaching. It's more just like extra help worksheets. And so, I mean, we already do enough. And I think Singaporean math is hefty enough. It has textbook, workbook, tests. So we just didn't really need this. And it didn't really teach us anything. It was just kind of extra work. So this is another one that we quit. So these are all of the workbooks that we tried for first grade and quit. And I also have another video of all of the first grade workbooks that we currently do and that we love. So that's that.